Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. Starting off with some mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies around the area, as well as some breezy conditions. We did have a wind advisory in effect. Have recently canceled that wind advisory, but we'll likely see those winds picking back up as we push further into daybreak here, and expect another wind advisory as we move through the morning and into the afternoon before we'll start to see those winds really settle down for good. Overall, expecting dry weather today and a bit chillier than what we saw yesterday. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, that front pushed through the area last night, really ramped up those northwesterly winds behind that, brought in some slightly cooler air, still working its way into the area. But overall, going to see that continue to move out of the area, and eventually we'll see that pressure gradient weakening as we go into the evening time frame, allowing those winds to be on the downward trend. Current conditions this morning, just a few clouds around 4,000 and 6,000 feet, as well as a few high clouds around 25,000 feet. Winds out of the northwest, 10 knots, gusting up to around 17 knots. Temperature at 38 degrees. Relative humidity is at 57%. Current visible satellite shows some of that low-level cloud cover just kind of working its way through the area. We'll see that sticking around until we start to see those winds weaken a bit as we get into the afternoon time frame. So just some partly cloudy. Could potentially see a ceiling develop briefly later this morning, but generally partly cloudy as we move through much of the day today. We look at the high resolution model for what we can expect for the next couple of days. As mentioned, we're going to see dry conditions and breezy conditions today. See clouds and winds on the decrease as we get towards particularly the later portion of the afternoon. And we'll see that trend continue with the winds as we go into the overnight time frame, with those winds becoming pretty light overall. We'll see clouds back on the increase as we move overnight into the early morning hours of Friday, as we'll have that clipper system that we've been keeping an eye on, a fairly weak system that's going to be quickly moving into the region. Overall, as mentioned, weak and fairly dry system. As that moves through, you'll see the reflectivity really stays off to our west and southwest, and even in that area, expecting fairly light accumulations overall as this weak disturbance moves through the area. You'll see here over on the Delmarva Peninsula, not much in the way of precipitation being simulated here in this particular model, and quite a few models agreeing with that solution. So we'll just keep a very slight chance of an isolated light sprinkle or maybe some light snow, but not expecting anything that would be very impactful. And that time frame would be during the later portion of the afternoon into the first part of the evening. As we move through the overnight time frame, we'll keep the clouds around, but we'll see things continue to remain dry, and we'll see milder temperatures moving into the area for our Saturday, and overall Saturday looking pretty good with some mild temperatures and fairly decent conditions. So looking at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we're holding an orange risk for elevated winds for that wind advisory criteria as we move through our working hours today. I do expect those winds to pick back up as mentioned. Could see those peak gusts up around 27 knots as we get later in the morning. We will start to see a slow downward trend in the winds as we get into the afternoon time frame, generally out of the northwest, 10 to 15. Then as we get later in the afternoon, we'll see those west-northwesterly winds with the peak gusts up around 21 knots. We'll see our high temperature around 41 degrees today. And as we go into the evening, we will see again those increasing clouds, starting off with increasing high clouds, and we'll see some mid-level clouds building in as we get to the start of the day on Friday. There's winds staying light out of the northwest, and temperature dropping down to around 28 degrees. As mentioned, could see a ceiling briefly develop this morning around 4,000 to 6,000 feet, but then we'll see those clouds on the decrease as those winds start to lighten up getting into the afternoon time frame. Tides running slightly below normal in the next couple of days. As mentioned, looking at green conditions overall for our weather risk, we'll have that very slight chance of light snow or light rain during the late afternoon tomorrow. But again, that's not looking very likely or impactful if it was to happen. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and chilly day with a high around 40 degrees. Partly to mostly cloudy overnight Friday night with a low around 28, and partly to mostly cloudy through the day on Saturday, slightly milder with a high around 48. That's going to wrap up the 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. to take a look at the extended forecast. Enjoy your morning.